Hey guys, it's Meadow6 Minecraft and Roblox, and today I'm going to be talking about a bit of a sensitive topic. I think that we've all gone through a hard time in our lives, at least once. And when my friend Twilight Unicorn posted this video,
But today, for my story time video that I promised you guys, I'm going to be telling you about my battle of depression.
it reminded me about a story of my past. It reminded me about the story of my depression, about the things that I went through that nobody really understood. So I thought, how about I share my story with you guys so that you may benefit from it? Our story takes place during my 7th and 8th grade year. So when I was in 7th grade, I was sitting in my music class. Now, back then, I used to really love music. In fact, I planned on becoming a music teacher in the future. So of course, I was paying attention and taking notes. Nobody else really paid attention or took. So I was paying attention to the teacher when someone tapped me on the shoulder. Now, I'm almost always paying attention in this class, so I ignored it at first. They did it again. So I turned around a little bit annoyed to see a sky blonde girl standing behind me. I couldn't really tell much about her at the point, but she looked at me dead in the eye and said the worst thing you would ever want to hear from someone.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Those were the exact words that she said to me. Now, something that my family and very close friends know is that I am a very emotional person. So when I heard those words, I was scared for her. So, like the emotional person I was, I invited her to sit with me and my friends during lunch so I could find out why she was so depressed. Now, something to know about my lunchroom is that we don't have many tables. Yet, out of some miracle, we managed to snag an entire table for just me and my friends. Now, I always preferred to stay in a small friend group, preferably 2 to 4 people. Here's a quick picture to show you all my friends. Oh, and there's also Hanna, but we don't care about her. I mean, she's the best, most kindest, perfectest YouTuber ever! And another quick thing to know is that me and my friends have always sat in the same spots every single day for pretty much the entire year. So basically, I would sit on the end of the table, here. My bestie Gracie would sit next to me right over here. The 2 seats next to Grace would be empty. Abby would sit across from me, right over here. Serenity would sit next to Abby. So she sat and had lunch with us, and I learned that all of her friends abandoned her. Looking back, this was the point that I really should have investigated, but I shrugged it off. So, after lunch, she decided to just basically start hanging out with me and Gracie, which was awesome because I just made a new friend, and I stopped from killing herself. Needless to say, I was proud of what I did. I found out what her name was, but for the sake of the video, we're going to call her Katie. Then I started to get annoyed because I started noticing how much Katie and Gracie were hanging out. Now trust me, I know that this sounds selfish. But my problem was that she started hanging out with us so much that we were known as a trio. And I kind of missed the time that just me and Grace would spend together when it was just the 2 of us, before Katie started hanging out with us. So I decided to tell her that I wanted to spend a bad idea. So I talked to Grace and we decided that we would do Frisbee. When Katie approached us during gym, I looked up to her and told her, "Hey, so me and Gracie are going to do some double Frisbee today. How about we all do something really fun tomorrow during gym?" She then looked at me and said,
Ugh, whatever.
After gym ended, we all went home and came back to school the next day. So I was getting stuff from my locker, about to go to my first period, when Gracie came up to me. She basically told me,
Hey, so me and Katie talked on the phone yesterday, and we're gonna do some drawing in gym instead.
"Oh, okay. Maybe we can do something tomorrow then." So gym was our last period, so I went throughout my day until lunch. Now, I was a little bit late to lunch because I was talking with the previous teacher. However, when I arrived, Katie was sitting in my seat. Now, I had already mentioned that I've been sitting in that seat literally since 4th grade. And I went up to her and asked her, "Hey, Katie, you're sitting in my seat." And then she said,
Just sit in my seat. It's not like we have assigned seats.
begrudgingly, I moved and sat somewhere else on the other side of the table. Now, I'll admit I'm not the most social person, so I would usually sit and read a book anyway, but it was extremely strange not sitting in my normal seat. So I went through the rest of my day going through each period until eventually we got to gym.
She avoided me the entire period.
If I had to look back, I would think that this moment was when our arguments began. I asked her about it as we were packing up, and she said that she just wanted to spend some time with Grace alone, that I didn't know anything about art, so I wouldn't be able to help anyway. After this moment, me and Katie started to argue. We argued about a variety of topics: school, family, but the thing that we argued the most about was spending time with Gracie. Now, at this point, I'd known Gracie for well over 7 years, and the idea of not hanging out with her and seeing her so much was strange to me. I mean, I had other friends, of course, but they started to hang out more and more, and I began to feel kind of isolated. Gracie was the only person that I ever felt comfortable talking to about. I always felt happy and bubbly when I was with her. Now, our biggest argument happened on January 8th. Hey guys, thank you for watching my depression story part 1. This is a very emotional video for me to make, and I was just barely able to get through it. So the reason that I'm cutting this up into 2 parts is because it took a really long time to edit all of these, even though I do use the same screenshots over and over again. But if you'd like to see a part 2, comment down below and hit the like button. If this video gets 15 likes or 15 views, I'll make a part 2.